Hello and welcome to Best Evidence in Brief, an overview for school leaders and teachers of the latest education research, provided by the Institute for Effective Education in a partnership with the National College. Every month we'll cover a selection of recently published studies, all of which we hope have some practical implication for policy and practice. My name is Jonathan Haslam and I'm the Director of the Institute for Effective Education. Let's begin. Is changing your mindset enough to change outcomes? No, we're not repeating last month's issue of Best Evidence in Brief, in which we reported on an English study of a growth mindset intervention that found no evidence that it led to additional progress in literacy or numeracy. Now, a US randomized controlled trial has been published in the journal Nature. It found that a short, online, self-administered growth mindset intervention may improve achievement among lower achieving students and increase overall enrolment in advanced maths courses. The study, conducted by David Yeager and colleagues, was the largest ever randomized controlled trial of growth mindset in US schools, involving 12,000 ninth graders, year 10s, in 65 schools. Students were individually randomized to either control or intervention group. The intervention group were asked to complete two 25-minute online courses taken 3 weeks apart. Students were given information about how the brain works and the latest research on growth mindset. They then completed activities such as explaining what they'd learned from the course to students in the year below. Students in the control group were given a similar program with information on how the brain worked, but no information on growth mindset. Following the intervention, students' grade point average, GPA, in their core classes of maths, science, English and social studies were collected. The study found that GPA scores for lower achieving students in the intervention group rose by 0.1 points relative to peers in the control group, an effect size of plus 0.11. Both higher and lower achieving students were more likely to take an advanced maths class in 10th grade, year 11, meaning enrolment in these courses rose from 33% to 36% in the 41 schools that shared that data. What is the impact of digital technology? A report published by the Nuffield Foundation finds that computer use in schools does not on its own boost pupils' digital literacy or prepare them for the workplace. The report, written by Angela McFarlane, examines how digital technologies are used in schools to enhance learning, and identifies research questions to inform better practice and policy. It covers 10 years of existing evidence on the effect the use of digital technology has on learning, and finds that putting computers into schools is no guarantee that there will be a positive impact on learning outcomes. This is true whether it's measured in high-stakes tests or on the development of digital literacy. How digital technologies are used is as important as whether they are used. There is no shared picture of what effective digital skills teaching looks like. Teachers may not have opportunities to develop the skills they need to make effective use of technology. The current use and knowledge of computer-based technology in schools and at home is leaving many young people unprepared for the world of work. What can be done to help pupils moving on from primary school? A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences looks at the impact of an intervention designed to help students who are worried about leaving primary school and going on to the next stage of their education. Jeffrey Borman and colleagues conducted the study with more than 1,300 sixth graders, year 7, at 11 middle schools in a US Midwestern school district. Within each of the 11 schools, students were randomly assigned to the intervention or control condition. The intervention group were given reflective writing exercises 2 months apart, which were designed to help students reassess any concerns and worries they might have about belonging in school. The control condition asked students to write about neutral middle school experiences that were not related to school belonging. The researchers collected pre- and post-intervention survey data on students' reported social and emotional well-being, and official school records of student attendance, disciplinary records and grades. The results of the study suggested that the intervention reduced behavioural referrals by 34%, an effect size of 0.14, decreased absences by 12% and reduced the number of failing grades by 18%. Differences across demographic groups were not statistically significant. What are the best interventions for improving outcomes in primary maths? The Nuffield Foundation has published a systematic review by researchers at Ulster University that analyses the outcomes of maths interventions in the classroom. The systematic review included studies that assessed the outcomes of interventions aimed at improving maths achievement in primary school children. 45 randomised controlled trials were included, along with 35 quasi-experimental studies. The studies were published between 2000 and 2017 and were mostly conducted in the US and Europe. The results of the review suggest that there are effective strategies teachers can use to help children with learning maths and being fluent with mathematical facts. It also found that there are many different ways teachers can support children to have a wide bank of strategies to complete mathematical problems, and for children to know when it's best to apply them. Technology in the classroom can also be helpful as long as these tools have been developed with a clear understanding of how children learn. The report concludes that the evidence base on mathematical interventions is weak. It recommends that researchers should test the effectiveness of mathematical interventions in order to help teachers support children's learning. Can a maths app help? Sticking with primary maths, the Education Endowment Foundation has published the independent evaluation report of a trial of a maths-based learning app. The 1 Billion programme consists of 2 maths learning apps, Maths 3 to 5 and Maths 4 to 6. They're designed to reinforce basic mathematical skills learned in the classroom. The apps are aimed at pupils aged 3 to 5 and 4 to 6 respectively, and consist of mathematical activities organised around different topics such as counting, shape and measures. The trial was conducted by researchers at the University of Oxford. It tested the impact of the apps on pupils in Year 2 who'd been identified by their teachers as being in the bottom half of their class in maths at the start of the school year. 113 schools from across England took part in the randomised controlled trial. Schools in the intervention group used the apps for half an hour, 4 days a week for 12 weeks, in addition to regular maths lessons. All children started with the Maths 3 to 5 app and progressed to the Maths 4 to 6 app. The children's use of the apps was monitored by teaching assistants, who were trained by a team from the University of Nottingham. Pupil achievement in maths was measured using the progress test in Maths 6. Pupils who received the intervention made significant additional progress in maths, an effect size of plus 0.24, compared to the control group. However, the trial also suggested that there may have been a negative impact, an effect size of minus 0.1, on pupils eligible for free school meals compared to those in the control group, though this finding was non-significant. Thank you for watching this month's Best Evidence in Brief webinar, providing a summary of some interesting education research papers published recently. You can find more information on the studies we've mentioned and links to the original papers by going to the Best Evidence in Brief website, where you'll also find details of more than 700 studies we've covered previously. If you have any questions or comments, please get in touch, either with us at the Institute for Effective Education or the National College, who'll put you in touch with the right person.